So is with us today. When things are going so smooth for us, that's the main thing that we forget in our lives. I was telling myself this morning that most of us, when coming to church, we say, no, it's a bit cold, kids, you can remain, I'm going to church, I'm coming back. But the big question is, do we know whom we are living these kids with? Because we're moving out with this faith that we know we are moving with our God. But do we tell God to remain with his kids behind? Because this Pesca of the Lent journey is capable of going where you get crushed more than anything, which is the children. Let's be very careful with that one. When we leave, let's leave God with his children. When we go out, let's go out with his children, because we don't know what's coming in if we don't leave God in bed. Just an aside, the moments that have been like water in the Lenten blessed. Isaiah here is giving this reflection of how God is capable of changing whatever possible thing before humanity. He talks of the water that God is capable of giving in the deserts. We know a number of deserts around Southwest Africa. I've never seen any water around there. But this one with the Israelites, God was capable of telling Moses to go to this stone. And when you touch that stone, you will get the water. He talks of how defensive he can be when the Red Sea opened and the road was dry for the Israelites to go through, but made it a point that those who come to attack from behind are dealt with cruelly. Whenever we live in this world, we must bear in mind that all that God wants from us is that we need to be people who are fearless. We need to be so fearless because we know who our protector is. You are today a captive, set free. But we are this kind of captives. You can even see it from people who've been in prison. There's been there for maybe 10 years. And when it's released from prison, even the movement, this person still feels being in that captive. The movement is not yet realized. And there has to be some things that get instilled in this person so that he can be in a position to realize that I'm a free man. And so it's with us today that we need to realize that God has set us free. And this freedom that he has given us, we must not even allow the governments that we live within to control. It's God who must take charge, not any person. Why it is still good to remember the past? What tells us he will do the new things. How magical. These are the past things that are always in our minds. And God said, don't let your mind dwell too much onto that, because I've got new things that are planned for you. Something interesting with us humans is that we like dwelling so much with the past. And this dwelling behind is the one that is draining our hearts. We can't move forward because we still look, we still look at the back. There was this illustration that was given around this week that you see when you are an athlete. If you remember very well, while you're still maybe very young and capable of running, you can remember very well that when you are in this sprint of running, The moment you keep on putting your head, behind the shoulder to check if this person is coming or not, your pace of running changes. It means with us, when this script is saying we must keep on moving forwards, even our body weight, when this athlete, I'm trying to remember this best athlete from Jamaica, this 100-meter runner, Usain Bolt, am I correct? When he touches the line, when he has won the race, you can see his body is not bent backwards, but his body is bent forwards, because that's the advantage. The more your head is at front, that's how best you can be in the position to hit your line. So even as our running should not take us, back. We should be running, having our body, our heart, and everything before us. The earth and nature itself will enjoy the work that God is doing. God will give drinks to his people who are thirsty, for this presence and way home through wilderness that separates them for their promised land. It's talking of sharing this desert with the jackals and the ostrich, which clearly means that even whatever wild that may be, as long as God is there, it will never hurt, it will drink with us. Long weeks of Lent lie behind us, and the dark days of trumps and passion, the betrayals, the arrests, the denials, the trials, the crucifixion, the burial lie ahead. Like the people of Israel in this book of Isaiah 43, held within Babylon's captives. Memories of God's mighty works in the past are simply not enough. We need the promise and the power from our Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. We need God to step in and break down the past, turning the laughter of our captors into lamentation. It happens every time, whenever we get hurt by something or people are hurting us. There is this laughter that they normally come up with. But there's this word or word in English which talks more about who loved us is the one that will love better. That will be the position set for us. The Lord says, who makes a way in the sea? What a question. A path in the mighty waters, who brings out the chariots and the horse, army and the warriors. They lie down, silent. They cannot rise because they've been extinguished. They are finished. So is the case with us. With all this that is happening during this period of lamentation, we should remember that those that are behind all this, they will be extinguished. God will put them to silence. And as long as our belief is strongly there, our trust and hope is in our God, that will happen. And when it happens, we mustn't say, thanks God, you've made it happen. But what we need to remember is that you are the God that we also. When the Israelites paused, like this morning we decided to pause, this is the story they recall. They remembered how God's entrance and death had passed over them, bringing the laughter of the Egyptians and to the lamentation of the death of their firstborn sons. This is the time when we need to put those marks that can enable the angel of the Lord to pass over, because we are capable of not just being sleeping, but being in a position of making it the point that God can see that hand, that you are with him and he's in you. They told the story of how the waters parted, making a way for them to walk through the sea. They recalled how the strong army of Egypt had pursued them. The stories that is giving shape to your life, of faith, don't even consider them anymore. The prophet is calling upon we, including the Israelites, to turn from the memory to hope. Yes, we can think, but the hope of what God can be able to do for us in the future, do we have it? The events of the past to the more decisive and redemptive events of the future. I'm about to do a new thing. That's what God is saying. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Memory gives away. It gives this way to hope. Do we have a sense that God is putting something new into play? Is there something new that we feel in you that yes, God is bringing something? If you don't feel it, I'm requesting you, when we have this prayer time, request God to bring, to bring that memory forth to you so that you can see this way that is planning. There is a way that God is planning for you. Most of the time, when looking at years back, I used to sing with a band called Fella. And with this band, I was a lead vocalist, and I used to play percussion too. And we used to play in festivals, the Woodstocks, the Shell Roads, and we had Ngale, Brenda Fassi, all these marvelous artists. And every time when we finish singing, they'll come and say, "Hey guys, you sing so well." But we said we want to record. And when we wanted to record in Johannesburg, like Stephen Festival, they'll say, "No, we would select. We would like to get to the drummist, the lead guitarist, and maybe the lead vocalist." We said, "No, we wanted the whole band." So I'm bringing this confidence to you to give this clear light. I never knew. I thought I would be this famous musician in life, only to find that that was not the plan. That was the training of the preaching that I'm coming up here with. That's the training that God has given me for all those years, so that when this time comes, I shouldn't be shy. I'm used to this masses of people who are making it to that. So today, it's so easy for me to come and say, this God is an unchanging God. This God is the God that wants us not to change for him. The prophet is calling upon Israel to turn from the memory of God. Let's put that in mind. When you look at the Phoenicians, Paul is presenting this message like a diplomatic representative, such as Timothy and others that were assigned to go for diplomacy work or to go for the spiritual God that God has called them. Through the letters that Paul has written, such as the letter that he has now written to the Philippians. However, the majority of the letter is composed of pastoral concepts, encouragement, exhortation, and counsel. That they reject. Paul is talking of rejecting the counsel. He's talking of the counsel of dogs. Then I question myself, how can Paul call these dogs, these dogs, the evildoers? Then I automatically realized that he's talking about the Pharisees. is talking of people who are said to be the best interpreters of the word of God, especially in the Torah. But the funny part of it, they want all this to be seen more around them, not through certain people. Abantu abafuna ukubonwa, these are people who want to be seen. They don't want other people to be seen like us. He says, beware of the dogs, beware of the evil workers, beware of false circumcision. But now, the moment we talk circumcision, I know most of us might be thinking, of a surgical way of things. No, Paul this time is not talking that way. He's saying we are the circumcision. We, the units, are the circumcision. Don't take it the other way around. We are the ones who need to have this cleansing, which needs to be so proper that whenever you open your mouth, the next person would never say, I'm talking to this evildoer, but can easily say, this is the child of God. However, that is not the case. God does not require circumcision. So insisting that the male Gentiles be circumcised as a prerequisite. No. To be a Christian is not a matter of having or bet. God is looking at your faith. What is it that you believe in God that enables us to be in a position to say, we belong there? Look at it this morning. I can rest assured you, when you go and check the records with Home Affairs, you can be so shocked to realize that over 500,000 people in South Africa today, they didn't see this. And you and me are so fortunate because we can see each other this morning. We can talk to each other this morning. So that's how the grace of God is working with us. And it needs us to be so cautious in understanding how this unchanging God is capable of lifting us. You can wake up in the morning, you don't have bread in the bread bin. But I rest assure you, God will make a plan for you. You won't even know where to get the plan, but God will make the plan for you. And before the sun sets, you'll be having that bread on the table. And you'll be there to share it with the people. You'll be there to be able to say this. I bought this bread because of my hope and my faith to my God. Let you, as my kids, have the same faith in this law that I pray. You know, when we prayed this morning, we talked of God of Abraham, God of Jacob, God of Isaac, God of our ancestors. We must bear in mind that when we interact with our God, we are the ones to be called ancestors in the future. We must not forget to have that thing every time. Let our kids have an understanding of that. Because those who are the dogs that Paul is talking about will be in a position to misinform our kids during that time. Be the parent that is informative to the kids. Don't just be a parent because, yes, you are a parent. Be a parent. The education that you always give to your children is the one that will give them and put them where the righteous is. The problem for the early church of Christians was whether or not to require people to observe the Jewish laws. The laws of the Jews. We are told those are not important. The most important is what we perceive as important to what God wants from our side. But God has things you must not call unseen. Peter managed to baptize Cornelius. And when he baptized Cornelius, he never said, go and be circumcised and then that will come and baptize. That's the clarity now that we are getting from the script, that yes, circumcision is not a prerequisite. And in the ministry of Paul and Timothy, because Paul was a Jew and he grew within the family, just like yourself and myself. My mom was born within the Methodist Church. My father was born within the Methodist Church. So I can easily come and say, the way Paul has given it out, the outline here, that because the Jews who were in those parts, for they all knew that Timothy, the father was a Greek. He did this because he believed circumcision was, or to be a prerequisite for Christians. He's looking at the basis that as a Greek, this is what is happening. But because Paul was a Jew and was born within the Jewish family, he considered circumcision as within the laws of the Jews. So probably with me, I'll come and say, so the Methodist Church says the laws and disciplines of the church said things are this way, so things must be that way. But here's a way that's saying something to us to remember that we must not dwell this much in the past. We can come as Methodists and try to present things that were maybe back in 1925. We live in another different world. We live in another, different footage that can't be the same as the one that my parents. How best do we manage to put our standards in the footage that can suit the present environment? It's the biggest challenge for everybody, because even our children are capable of telling us, no, Dad, no, Mom, we are not living in the world of the 40s. We are living in 2022. And 2022 is so fast different to 1946. You can imagine, you can remember during those times, we never had the how trains. We never had, or with us it was worse, getting a flight from there to Transmart Airport to London was this massive task of work to do because of the conditions and the laws that we lived within. But fortunately, the evil workers were squashed and were removed. But all of a sudden, what we see happening to us is something that's so unbelievable. We thought we were within the lines that God wanted. We are now turning to be the evil workers. We are the ones who are turning to go and steal taxpayers' money. We are there to go and steal from the poor, from those who are supposed to benefit from the funds that the state is giving. We have now to be turned to be enemies of the people. I have more reason for confidence than for any of them. And to give all the land of Canaan to Abraham's descendants for an everlasting possession. Here's the land. We cried to God and said, how can God, the God of our forefathers, give the land to people who just carry? And God said, I'll make it a point that I give you this turning point, and we have this land back to you. Yes, the land is back to us. We are people who are not satisfied at all. Because we come and say, you only gave us, God, you only gave us political power. You didn't give us the economic power. What exactly are we talking about?